Referring to it as a private sector-oriented, a one-sided and defective budget, among other things, former Minister of Finance Winston Jordan has stated that the government's 2020 budget is going to create a financial situation never heard of or seen before in this country's history. The former minister made those statements during a live discussion on CAM's TV program, Buxtonian Morning Times, with host Kadaki Amsterdam. Mr. Jordan clarified what he meant when he said that the 2020 emergency budget will create a financial situation.
And I say this because of, look, you see the overall deficit in 2018 was $19.7 billion, right?
Yes, I'm with you.
In 2019, we have managed to bring down that deficit to $17.4 billion. But in 2020, the overall budget deficit is $75.9 billion.
Wow.
That is more than four times. That is more than four times the deficit of 2019. And this deficit is more than double the amount that we currently have in the Sovereign Wealth Fund. It's more than double.
The former minister also put the axe to the tree by revealing that there has been an increase in expenditure and a reduction in revenue for the years 2019 and 2020. He explained that the increase in expenditure results from the COVID-19 pandemic as well as the electoral impasse of 2020.
So you're having an increase in expenditure between 2019 and 2020 of roughly $39 billion and a reduction in revenues between 2019 and 2020 of $21 billion for a total of roughly $60 billion. $60 billion. And when you add that $60 billion to the 17.4 that was a deficit in 2019, you get to $79.9 billion. And this now is going to be financed by borrowing. Borrowing locally, borrowing overseas. So you're destroying the revenue base and then going and borrow money.
Mr. Jordan also stated that it would appear as though the current administration is either reversing or completely removing policies the coalition government had put in place to increase the country's financial standing, simply for political mileage. The former minister also posited that it would appear as though the current administration is seeking to consolidate its support base through some measures outlined in the budget, while it intends to marginalize communities that are predominantly black and those communities which support the coalition. The government of Ghana on Wednesday presented its emergency budget to the tune of $330 billion in the National Assembly at the Artichon Conference Center under the theme, Our Plan for Prosperity, Protecting Our People in a COVID-19 Environment, Strengthening Democracy and the Rule of Law, Incentivizing Economic Growth and Job Creation, Enhancing Welfare. The last budget for the country was presented in December 2018 by the Coalition Party, which formed the government at that time under the theme, The Journey to the Good Life Continues. Then opposition leader Barrett Jagdeo had criticized that budget by saying it was uninspiring and most disastrous. Wendell Badrie for the HGP Nightly News.